Welcome back to my little channel. I'm going to respond to a small movie I found from Rose McGowan. And there are lots of men out there who recognize that name, but probably wouldn't recognize the face anymore. But still, she has something to say. We may as well listen. After all, when a woman talks, well, listen and believe, isn't it?
I feel like we're on a rocket ship strapped to the front of it, hurtling towards an asteroid. And this country set the fucking match.
That's rather a specific visualization. And who is this we you are talking about? And, I mean, lit the fuse? What do you mean with that?
My initial reactions and feelings to the news of the election were, as so many of us have had, heartbreak, anger, rage, shock.
I can't really blame you. I somewhat feel you are entitled to be outraged and shocked. I mean, this is the second year running that a man wins Woman of the Year. Well, not one of the Woman of the Year awards. So yeah, I can understand your outrage.
I'm not shocked that it happened. I'm shocked that they pulled off a coup of this magnitude.
You know, I didn't really call myself outraged when I heard it, but I couldn't help but chuckle. I mean, the second year in a row, and the guy with Woman of the Year award splintered all over his forehead is a dude with a willy. It's somewhat funny to me, but yeah, I can understand your outrage on this. Nor would I say, well, you're a woman, therefore you must be outraged that a man can achieve something too. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, I do believe that Woman of the Year should be a woman. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that.
That the alt-right movement, they've been waiting for this moment and they got it.
No. It was Glamour magazine. What alt-right are you on about? This has nothing to do with the alt-right.
I traveled on November 9th to Europe. The most difficult thing to explain is why America is so stupid.
Yeah, don't worry about explaining that. We know not every American is stupid. It's just the ones that voted the guy to become Woman of the Year. I mean, yeah, there's some serious stupidity in that. I'm sorry. I'm still not sure what that has to do with the alt-right, though. Could you explain?
Why they vote against their best interest, why they are so willing to hate a woman that they can't see the bigger picture.
I'm getting a distinct feeling we are talking about different things here. I mean, we're not discussing the fact that once again a man won Woman of the Year. I mean, what are you on about then?
The thing with Hillary, I don't know who could have survived 30 years of gnarly negative press. Simultaneously, they're building up Donald Trump for the last 30 years.
Now I get it. You're on about Trump winning the election and Hillary losing it. Right, that's the election you meant. Ah, man, I feel I'm sorry. But yeah, no, Trump did win the election, but Hillary didn't have 30 years of negative media coverage. I mean, it's the media that's trying to push her into the White House. So I'm not quite sure where you got that from.
You know, lifestyles of the rich and famous, all that kind of America stupid people worship that they do for, you know, the nouveau riche and the glitz and the glamour. They fall for it.
Are you now bashing the lifestyle of the rich and famous media coverage they have in America? Because if I'm not mistaken, you kind of, you know, wiggled your way into that as well. I mean, you were famous once, you'll probably be famous again. Maybe some people will be mad at me saying that you were famous, that you still are famous. I mean, I'm showing a few other pictures of you so that people might have a better idea of who you are. Though you don't look it now, but nothing to be ashamed of how you looked, to be honest. That's just me, though. That's all right if people disagree. Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, how come you're complaining about this stupidity of people looking up to the wealthy and rich and famous people? Because you thrived on that. You made a living out of that.
My number one priority is safety for women. That is what I care about most. And we're going to need allies. We are going to need all good men to protect us.
This is this he for she thing all over again, isn't it? Men and women are equal. Therefore, men need to protect the women. even though the laws protect women more than they protect men. But it's unequal because women have more rights than men, so we need men to protect us. Seriously? I mean, I've lost well, no, I didn't really have any respect to lose. Never mind.
We are going to need our good women to protect us.
And which women are those? The ones that you need to protect you?
This is a war on inequality.
So people voting for Trump is a war on inequality. You do realize that women have more rights protecting them than men do, right? And men can actually be forced to sign up to go to war. I mean, there still is a draft. Women can't be drafted. Another thing about inequality is that it goes both ways. So if you have a right that I as a man do not, then you have basically more rights than I do. Isn't that true?
This is a war on intelligentsia.
Well, if you want to call it a war on intelligentsia, it seems intelligence has won. And you're trying to diminish intelligence. After all, you're talking about how the lifestyle of the rich and the famous sort of thing is a bad thing, even though you profited from it. You talk about how it's a war on inequality, even though women have more rights protecting them than men do. So would that then mean if we voted against the look at us poor women narrative, we're actually starting to think more instead of feel more? And I would think that thinking is a sign of intelligence, not feeling.
This is a war on women. This is a war on LGBTQ and anybody who goes under the definition of other.
Yeah, people keep saying that, but I wonder where it comes from. I mean, I've not heard Trump say anything to diminish the rights of anyone, not women, not LGBTQ ones. I mean, I heard him talk about not letting in more foreigners, so building a wall to keep out illegal Mexicans and not taking in more refugees from Islamic countries. But other than that, I didn't hear him talk about diminishing the rights of any American. So why do you keep pushing that narrative? Not just you, mind you, all those butthurt losers that wanted to have Hillary in office. You know, Hillary, the one that said a nuclear war isn't off the table, or one that's been, well, let's say, funded by Saudi Arabia and Qatar, countries where the rights of those people you just talked about don't really exist. Well, in Saudi Arabia, you have the right to be thrown off a building if you're gay, but yeah, I'm not quite sure if that's what you meant.
This is a war.
Yes, you said against equality and intelligentsia. Thank God you're losing.
What we do now, what we do going forward, we're going to have to... I don't know.
Well, let me then give you a suggestion of what you could do. You could think. You could read up on those inequalities you claim there are, and then realize that most of these inequalities are on the side of men and not on the side of women. And this is true for the LGBTQ community as well. I mean, Trump might not be the best selection, but they're a lot better than Hillary. Because don't forget, Hillary was against gay marriage until this presidential election. So there is that.
Nobody knows. That's the fuck of it all.
Well, no one can predict the future, you're right on that, but I'm not quite sure why you are seeing it so bleak. At least Trump didn't advocate for nuclear war, nor did he defend rapists and took money from people who throw people off of buildings. So, yeah, I think that's going for him.
But I do know something's going to happen, and I do know it's going to be big.
Well, I'm not sure if it's what you meant, but yeah, something did happen. People rioting in the street, putting streets on fire, houses, cars, throwing in, smashing in windows, because they claim Trump is not their president, but they're still Americans, so Trump kind of is. So, yeah, and then there's this thing that the Electoral College hasn't really decided yet, apparently, because some of them feel that even though their constituents want them to vote for Trump, they might not agree with that. So there is still that. There's a lot of things happening, actually. None of them are Trump's fault, though.
And I do know I want to be a part of it, that I want to stand for women, that I want to stand and speak for those who can't, because they don't have a voice, because they've been marginalized now more than ever.
See, this is where you have me puzzling again, because you make it sound as if women or minorities have no voice in America, or people of different sexual orientation, let's just call it that. But even Trump spoke out in favor of defending them. He spoke out in favor of defending the minorities in America, like the black people. Basically, he said, guys, you've been voting for Democrats as long as you can remember, and it has been going worse time and again. Please give me a chance. I'll try to make things better for you. No, 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 no. We don't want to hear that. He spoke out at a conference. No, not conference. Rally. Sorry. He spoke out at a rally that he wanted to protect the LGBTQ. And the crowd went wild. And he said, well, I'm so glad to hear you respond like that when I say I want to help these people. So there's a change within the Republican Party. Well, maybe not in the party, but at least in the people supporting them. But you still don't want to see that. No, you'd rather go for Hillary Clinton, who said, well, a few years ago, that gay marriage wasn't a thing. She only changed that because of this. And she did defend rapists. Hell, she even blamed some of the women that her husband had an affair with. Never mind him, but she blamed them. And this is what you're defending? Really? Hypocrisy much?
I've been trying to sound the drum for this last year, but I'm just one person, and apparently I didn't sound it loudly enough.
Unfortunately, no, you did sound it loud enough, but thank God so many people are recognizing what you're sounding your drums for, and we reject it. Why can't you realize that this fake narrative of, well, my vagina knows better is bullshit? Hell, even if a woman would be better as a president, I'm not saying she couldn't be. You chose Hillary Clinton. Don't get me wrong, but that woman is establishment as much as it gets to be establishment. And she took money from way worse people than you claim Trump is. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Trump will be the best president America has ever had. But unfortunately, he's the best president America has at this very moment. He isn't establishment. He might fight against the establishment in parliament, which is a good thing because you guys are in a rut. I mean, the social justice warrior thing, the regressive left thing could only have happened because of your politics. You are being lied to by your politicians who sell you out to the highest bidder, and you buy it. You lap it up as if it's a bowl of milk and you're a happy dog. I don't get this. Hell, even now you're still defending Hillary Clinton and it should have been her instead of him because he's just a lackey of big money. How the hell is he a lackey of big money when Hillary Clinton is raking in the millions by people we'd rather not associate with? I mean, seriously, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, just two. Those are the people that spend money to get her elected. And that's not a positive thing, people. You don't want America to become a second Saudi Arabia. And I know America isn't Islamic, so it probably will not happen fast. But you've already started moving in that direction. You've already started with the listen and believe bullshit. We should vote for Hillary because she has a vagina. Never mind the fact that she started talking about how it's okay to go to a war. The nuclear option wasn't off the table. And women are the biggest victims of war because they lose their husbands, their brothers, and their sons. And their fathers, obviously. Never mind what those people lose, though. Never mind that. But as a woman, you will lose all them. Therefore, you are the biggest loser of the war. I'm sorry. Don't you recognize who you are defending? Don't you recognize which narrative you are pushing? And then don't you understand why people have had enough of this? You are lying to them. And even now you blame them for not believing in your lies. This is basically what's wrong with feminism today. This is what's wrong with people pushing that narrative. Hell, you're a rich and famous white woman complaining about people looking at the life of the rich and famous. This is how you made your money, you ungrateful bitch. Never mind that. I shouldn't have said bitch. I mean, it fits, but I shouldn't have said it. Um, I'm just going to wrap it up here. I'm not going to get nicer as I continue. So please like, share, subscribe if you feel inclined so people. Criticism is not only welcomed, it's invited. Tell me what you think, if you agree or disagree with me, and why. I really like to hear about that. And no, I'm not saying we should now all ban Rose McGowan or something like that. I mean, she's just another woman trying to tell you how to think. Somehow in America, a lot of these famous people try to tell you how you think because you don't know how you think. You should listen to them how you think. They will explain to you how you think. And if you do not agree with them, then there's something seriously wrong with you. Anyway, rambling again. Thank you for your time and see you all next time.